Rax, the most experienced and ruthless of the group, carefully aimed the titanium scalpel at the human's chest. "This creature's insides. So simple," he said, in a calm yet disgusted tone. As the scalpel touched the skin, it opened up like paper waiting to be torn. Beneath, the muscle tissue trembled, exposed under the metallic tool. "Weak," added Ziv, his eyes observing intently. "How do they survive with such fragile structures?" He guided his instrument deeper into the body, probing the veins and nerves. The heart beats in simple rhythmic pulses. How does such a complex body function with such a primitive system? Rax took a step back, his gaze fixed on the human's chest. "It's just a basic pumping mechanism," he said disdainfully. "This species seems like a biological miracle, but too fragile." Zorak, unlike the others, watched silently. His long arms slid towards the human's lungs, hesitating for a moment. "There's something odd here," he remarked in a tone of surprise. "This organ is pulling in air and pushing it out. Are they really functioning with such a weak system for energy production?" Ziv raised an eyebrow at Zorak. "They use it to survive. Can you imagine? How inefficient. When there are better ways to generate energy, these creatures inhale air and exhale it back. It's naive." Rax aimed his scalpel at the nerves between the human's muscles. "The nervous system is too complicated and disorganized. How do these creatures control their physical form with such a slippery structure?" He carefully touched a nerve with his tool. The human body involuntarily reacted. The muscles suddenly contracted, and the arms jerked upward. The eyes flickered open reflexively, but consciousness was hazy. A scream of pain tried to escape, but only a raspy groan fell from their lips. "Interesting," said Ziv, stepping closer and gazing into the human's eyes. "The body is still responding. When the brain is stimulated, the nervous system accelerates." He reached toward the human's head, placing a thin, wire-like device into the brain. "Let's see how much more this organism can endure." Rax watched what Ziv was doing, a cruel curiosity spreading across his face. These are simple life forms, but there must be a secret hidden within them. How else could they survive evolutionary processes with such a fragile and primitive design? At that moment, the human's heart rate began to speed up. The trembling lines on the monitor surged. Zorak's attention sharpened, his expression of surprise more evident. "What's happening?" "The heart, it's experiencing some sort of energy discharge, but not in a way we've seen before." Ziv took a deep breath, leaning in closer to inspect the human. Their hearts seemed to be activated by neural signals. How can such a disorganized structure react this way? We don't have anything like this in our systems. Rax stared at the human, his eyes narrowing. "These creatures, they keep surprising us, but we'll figure them out eventually. Every organ, every system will reveal how this species has survived." He picked up the scalpel again, moving it toward the human's abdomen, and made another deep incision. Blood flowed from the open wound like a thin stream, but Rax's curiosity only intensified. Suddenly, the human's breathing sped up. The monitors began beeping wildly, as if detecting an abnormality. The metallic room echoed with the frantic signals, causing a wave of alarm in the lab. Zorak, startled and excited, lifted his head, eyes wide, and breath quickened. "This organ, wait," he said, his voice almost trembling. "It's doing something different. This isn't a normal response. The energy levels are skyrocketing." Rax and Ziv immediately turned to the monitors, their eyes fixed on the data, trying to decode the mystery inside the human's body. Every nerve impulse, every muscle contraction, moved in a pattern they couldn't comprehend. Ziv reached toward the deep wound, closely inspecting the quivering organs. How is this possible? We thought this species was primitive, but their heart and other organs are linked in a way that's almost superior to us, he murmured. Rax's eyes gleamed with a spark of interest. They can't just be simple creatures, he thought. These reactions, they suggest their neural network might be far more advanced than we imagined. As the signals on the monitors sped up, so did the questions forming in their minds. Every response, every contraction, drew the aliens deeper into the unknown. Rax gripped the scalpel tighter and stared at the humans' shifting internal organs. These creatures might be much more complex than we assumed. The synchronized movements of the heart and brain, there's an unknown mechanism at work here. But as the humans' eyes darkened in the cold lab, their body slowly gave out, succumbing to the torturous experiments. Their pupils dilated, heartbeats became erratic, and eventually, their shaking body fell still. The human body could no longer withstand the horrific experiments. But to the aliens, this was merely a turning point. To them, this was just the beginning of discovering new secrets and opening new pathways. The human's body had only offered them a glimpse into the unknown. Their plans and experiments would continue, paving the way to understanding the complexity inside these creatures. As they gazed at the lifeless body lying in the cold, metallic lab, it was only the first step in a much larger journey.